Qëndroni me Ora News.
A suspicious suitcase caused panic near the US Embassy. Following an anxious investigation, it turned out to be empty. Italian ambassador to our country says that big criminal groups should face justice and Albania should do more in the fight against crime. The population of Albania has significantly decreased in the past 5 years, with Instat data showing our population has declined by 26,000 citizens. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 6th of October 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Ora News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. A suspicious suitcase has caused anxiety near the US Embassy in Tehran. For about an hour, police and citizens were investigating the situation. Residents called police around midday to report the suitcase, which was left just a few metres away from the wall of the US Embassy in Tehran in a very populated area. Police surrounded the area with security strips. A specialised police force trained in deactivating explosives was also called to the scene. The preliminary scanning of the suitcase by the US Embassy's security forces found that there were no dangerous elements inside that could lead to a possible explosion. Upon looking into the suitcase, it turned out that the suitcase was empty. An Ora News journalist reported from the area saying that the suitcase was not far away from the road, and if any dangerous element had been found, the police would have blocked the circulation of vehicles and residents. Police have started an investigation to find out who is the owner of the suitcase. It is still unknown whether someone simply forgot the suitcase or whether it was left on purpose in order to spread panic. Security cameras from surrounding businesses in the area are being reviewed, and some witnesses are being questioned in regards to determining the owner of the suitcase. The European Commission has asked Albania for tangible results, especially in regards to the implementation of judicial reform, vetting of judges and prosecutors, and the fight against corruption and organised crime. During the 8th meeting of the Committee for Stabilization and Relations between Albania and the European Union, which was held in Brussels, the European Commission's representatives emphasised that Albania has made positive improvements across all sectors, but still a lot of work is needed in the main sectors. The Foreign Ministry's statement reads that the European Commission welcomed the positive progress in all areas, as well as stressed the need to see tangible results and to continue progress on all key priorities, including the fight against corruption and organised crime, cultivation and trafficking of cannabis, public administration reform and fundamental rights. At the meeting, it was also spoken about the phenomenon of asylum seeking. The Albanian authorities were encouraged to engage in addressing this problem. According to the Foreign Ministry's announcement, the European Commission has admitted the commitment of Albanian authorities to curb asylum seeking, but urged them to continue with the efforts to address this issue. The European Commission recalled that the regional collaboration and good neighbourly relations are an essential part of Albania's progress on the road to European integration. The Italian ambassador to our country, Alberto Cutillo, was in Korça today. He held a meeting with the mayor of Korça to discuss some projects for education and the reconstruction of schools. From the city of Korça, the Italian ambassador declared that the big criminal groups should be brought to justice as soon as possible. The Italian ambassador declared that Albania should make improvements in the fight against organised crime. Italy and Albania have been collaborating for years in the fight against organised crime. We have a good alliance and there have been positive results in the fight against cannabis cultivation. Still, a lot of work needs to be done. I think that the fight against big criminal groups needs to be improved. The moment these groups are before justice, they should be judged and to be punished if they are guilty. This has not happened so far, declared the Italian ambassador, who also commented on Albania's integration into the European Union. You know that improvements in the 5 priority areas are needed in order to open negotiations for EU membership. Albania is making progress in this regard, but some countries think that more needs to be done, declared the Italian ambassador from Korça. The statement of the Italian ambassador comes a few days after the US ambassador Donald Lu said that 4 major clans controlled by 20 criminal families lead organised crime activities in Albania. Prime Minister Edi Rama and opposition leader Lulzim Basha have exchanged accusations at a distance today regarding the taxes on small businesses and the operation against informality. The Prime Minister emphasised on his Facebook account that the opposition is defending informality at a time when the government is protecting the common people. The opposition is protecting informality. We are protecting the common people. Not a single business will operate without paying the value-added tax. fraud with citizens' money will end, wrote the Prime Minister on Facebook. Meanwhile, the opposition leader accused the Prime Minister of defending the interests of oligarchs. Instead of threatening small entrepreneurs who work to keep their families, Edi Rama should first tell Albanian people the amount of money he gave to the oligarchs in the recent 4 years. He should declare to the citizens the taxes the oligarchs pay to the state. But he cannot tell these things because they may reveal a criminal truth, which is the theft from the common people, in order for Edi Rama and his clients to get rich, wrote the DP chairman on Facebook. The third phase of the operation against informality started on October 1, checking that business owners are issuing receipts for all products sold. Albania's economic development is related to the integration into the European Union and to innovation. The governor of the Bank of Albania, Gent Seiko, participated at the 7th conference of the Central, Eastern and Southeast European countries, organised by the European Central Bank. The governor of the Bank of Albania asked for support from EU countries for the integration of Albania into the European Union. Governor Seiko said that long-term political and economic prosperity are closely linked to the EU integration process, since the countries in the region have differences between them, but the economic and political benefits from the process are in commonality. The BOA governor emphasised that the contribution of institutions in the European Union in this process remains of particular importance thanks to the transparent and objective EU integration instructions, as well as the monitoring and reporting of progress in each country. According to the governor, the role of the institutions in broadly defining the rule of law, the investment climate, the protection of intellectual property, the quality of education and infrastructure, as well as access to finance, is really important. In this regard, the empowerment of economic institutions according to EU standards is required. Senior participants from the European Central Bank governors and well-known banking and finance sector experts all participated at the conference. The population of Albania has fallen sharply in the past 5 years. According to the latest data provided by the National Institute of Statistics, the population of our country has decreased by 26,000 inhabitants for the period 2012 to 2017. According to sociologists, the main factors are related to the economic uncertainties and the decrease in the number of new births. The data shows that there has been a decline in the population in the period 2012 to 2017, and this has been affected by the decline in births and immigration and an increase in emigration. The sociologists think that this tendency is connected to factors that are mainly related to economic uncertainties that bring about a reduction in the number of families and births. Reduction of the population is also a concern recently raised by the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, the sociologists think that there should be more supportive policies for the creation of new families, but that stimulating births are needed. According to the data, Tirana and Durrës have had an increase in their population during the past 5 years. The Vlora region also reflects a slight increase in 2016. However, all other cities have experienced decline in population. Albania's population is increasing in age as well, as a result of lower fertility and increased immigration. Dibra is the region with the youngest population in Albania. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.
Kjo është Ora News.